Hey guys, this is Ashley from Mountain View Homestead, and it's been a few weeks since we've done a video. Owen is now 3 weeks old, and I'm finally ready to take you guys to see the garden, even though it's a huge mess. This year's kind of started out as a disappointment. I had planted everything after our last frost date in April, and then we had a surprise frost in May, so a lot of our plants got damaged. And then after I directly sowed our seeds into like the raised beds and whatnot, a squirrel or a rabbit came in and dug up everything, and so I had to re-sow everything. And at this point, I was still pregnant, so I will show you the hot mess that all of that has created in the garden. But yeah, I thought I'd just take you guys out because it's the first time I'm actually able to come out while Alex is watching the babe. But I guess I'll start here. So here's some flowers that I planted. These are my first time growing. I think it's called amaranth or something. But it's got the little fuzzy flower buds. This whole row, I wanted it to be flowers, so we have some marigolds, zinnias, just forage, and some sweet pea flowers. I planted a lot more flowers than this, but I don't know, I think the garden as a whole is just like a month or two behind last year's garden. And a lot of the things I planted didn't really come up or start growing. So I think we kind of missed spring. It went from like winter to summer. And we're also in like a drought in my area now too, which I realized a little bit too late. And whereas last year we had a lot of rain, so I think the garden was able to produce a lot more, and I didn't have to come out and like water the garden last year, whereas this year I probably should have been watering it a lot more frequently than what I had been doing. But here's some more. Here's some sweet pea flowers. Here's some loofah that's taken off recently. We're definitely not going to get loofah before the first frost, I'm thinking, because this is really far behind. And then this side is the birdhouse gourds, and that's taken off quite well. It's going into this tree. We have cucumber here, which I don't think I planted. I think it was left over from last year. We did have a huge pumpkin plant that volunteered as well. Here's a volunteer tomato plant, and then we have cucumbers going up this trellis. This whole back row is supposed to be sunflowers. Okay, this one's green apple cucumber, which I'm really excited about. My first time growing it. Nothing on it so far. I'm just trying to come over to this guy's side. The fruit alpha cucumber. And then this one on this trellis is Kajari Melon, which is coming up. We have little baby melons coming in. There's another one. So you have honeydew melon on this side. I don't really know if honeydews can climb and should be on a trellis, but I'm trying it out. On this side is tiger melon, which is climbing up. Now something interesting happened, so I got really discouraged when like this animal came into the garden and dug up everything, but now I'm understanding like what actually happened. I thought the animal like ate the seeds, but I'm noticing everywhere I look, I have volunteers everywhere of things I didn't even plant last year. Like I only planted one watermelon last year and it didn't really grow at all. But I think when the animal dug it up, it dug the seed out of the bed. And so now I have watermelon and tomatoes growing in the aisles of my garden. Like here's one, here's some tomatoes, mix of tomatoes and mix of tomatoes. It looks like some ground cherry tomatoes. More watermelon, if you can see it. Here's another random watermelon. I hope I'm getting this in. It's hard to see. So I ended up getting like super discouraged like at the beginning of the gardening season. I was pregnant, I didn't feel good. Nothing was working in the garden. So many pests and predators, and we actually lost 17 of our chickens to a family of raccoons. Even though we thought we had it all protected and we had the huge fence, nothing kept them out. But to see all these volunteers and like free plants actually growing and doing well, it's been like really encouraging. And to see this is really cool too. Like not only am I growing watermelon, but it's like a lot of watermelon and it's working. No, there's one. Here's a few others. So these are Blacktail mountain watermelon, and then I believe this one is a sugar baby. So I'm probably gonna come out here and like tie them off and like hang them so the weight doesn't get too much for them. Here's some more tomatoes, not sure what they are yet. And then I actually have some Moon and Stars watermelon coming up. And then a Crimson Sweet. Here's a Crimson Sweet watermelon. And little baby ones, oh my goodness. So in this trellis I have green serpent. Not entirely sure what type of fruit it is, I forgot, but it's growing pretty well. Looks like it could probably be watered. But I have this sharing a trellis with some sour gherkin, which is, I don't know if you can see that. There's some sour gherkin right here. This needs to be weed whacked. And then I have some noodle beans on this trellis coming in. And that's grown up. And then some snap peas, which I think I harvested all of them yesterday. And then this volunteer is not doing too well, but I got some tomatoes on it. It might be some sort of blue blush berry. Here's my pickling cucumbers, just coming up on this trellis. And then I have more melons, like I planted a bunch of random different melons. Here's this one's Eden's Gem melon, which I'm not, oh, here's a little fruit. This one is a golden honeymoon melon. Well, here's the fruit of the golden honeymoon melon. And then I have Honeydew orange flesh melon over here. So, by the way, I know a lot of us struggle with like labels and it washing away in the rain and weather. And this is the only thing that I've found that has actually worked, is these little black sticks and using a white paint pen to write down the labels on. And it worked for me last year, and so I bought like 1,000 more. And each one is, it's still on there, and we've had a few like really nasty storms. The only thing I can't prevent is animals digging them out. Now the tomatoes. Obviously I have more tomatoes growing in the aisles and volunteers than I do in the actual raised beds this year. So I believe this is Dr. Witchy's, some Brad's Atomic Grape, Paul Robeson, and then this is supposed to be a beefsteak, which all the tomatoes are obviously like so far behind this year. A bigger slicer of tomatoes in like this half of the garden. And then cherry tomatoes behind those chairs back there. But here's some volunteer cucumbers that kind of took over the cabbage, which is fine. I do want to share with you like this really cool plant. I don't know if any of you have heard of this, but it's called a popcorn plant. And if you rub the leaves with your fingers and smell it, like it smells like buttered popcorn. Now this is purely decoration and it's not going to overwinter, but I just absolutely love the look of it. It's got these really cool yellow leaves when it blooms, but here's kind of beginning. So yeah, these will bloom into like yellow flowers, and there's a photo of it blooming on my Instagram account, which I'll link in the description. But I have 2 of them and they have grown pretty big since we bought them as little starters. Here's a failed attempt at a strawberry bed in this baby pool. Some more random ground cherry plants. Sour gherkin volunteered and it kind of exploded all over this area, which is fine because I didn't have anything planted there anyways. Random tomato. The ground cherries have decided to just sprout anywhere and everywhere that they could find a place. And then here's my squash bed. I have a bunch of random squash growing, like spaghetti squash, buttercup squash, zucchinis, 8-ball squash. Some of this got hit hard with squash bugs. So yeah, we're figuring that out. And then here's some beans. Midnight black turtle bean. Still blooming. This looks like something different, so I don't know what happened there. Here's our cherry. Got 2 rows of cherry tomato plants. So here we have peppers, 2 rows of peppers. Anywhere from like the yellow stuffing peppers to like jalapenos, red marchuchi pepper, look at that guy. Maybe if I try to get on the other side. I don't know if you guys can see this. Like, I probably picked the wrong time of day to come out and shoot this because it's so dark, but that is a black midnight dream pepper. And then I have all these jalapenos because I like cowboy candy. another random watermelon volunteer, and then some random peppers, and then my okra bed. Here's my pineapple plant. When I bought this plant, there was no pineapple on top, but actually looks like there might be a second one trying to form underneath of it. But this, I believe it takes 2 years to grow pineapple, so I'm gonna have to figure out how to overwinter it, which is fine. And then I have a mandarin tree, which I'm not really sure. I feel like they always die on me. So that's basically the garden as it stands now. Super messy, lots of weeds everywhere. I literally only have like an hour to 2 hours in between each feeding for Owen, so it's really hard to come out here and just like work on this. But I mean, it's not a complete disappointment. I knew going into this year it was going to be a lot harder just because of having a kid. So I think it's doing pretty well. And yeah, I guess I'll see you guys in the next video. All right, see ya.